Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another beautiful day on the Queen Amina show. I hope you guys are having a wonderful time, a wonderful day. It's sunny, bright, beautiful over here in Canada, and I am just praising God for being alive. I hope you guys are also grateful for being alive today. I welcome you once again. We're going to have a fantastic time today listening to one of our guests on the show today, Mala Singh. Mala is going to walk us through her journey to Canada and her work with immigration and how you can migrate to Canada, how she can help you migrate to Canada. And also, we're going to see how immigrants has been always the lifeline in this country. So, without much talk from me, I am going to bring her up so she can tell us about herself. But before I do that, would you please kindly share the video on your platform and let other people benefit from this wonderful information that she's going to be sharing with us? So, invite your friends to join on the show. We are live on YouTube also. So if you don't have a Facebook page, not to worry, we got your back. We are on live YouTube. So you can join us via YouTube. So let me see if our guest is ready and I will bring her up. Hi, Mala. How are you?
How are you doing? Nice to see
I'm
you.
doing very well. You look so wonderful.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today. It's a
Thank
pleasure
you
to be
so
on your
much.
show. And
Thank you.
I'm honored to be with a queen. You are a queen.
Thank you so much. Please just briefly tell us about you, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the situation of the COVID-19 in Toronto. Um,
Yes.
Kudos to our Prime Minister and the Premier of Ontario and all the great people, working in the front line, the providers, the essential providers, the essential workers. Canada has done super fantastic in this pandemic situation. But please, before we go into that, introduce yourself to our guest and what we're going to be talking about today.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Queen Amina. My name is Mala Sharma-Singh. I was born in London, England, where my father, Mr. Rupnarayan Sharma, he graduated as a young lawyer there. That's my dad. He graduated in 1964 as a very young lawyer in London, England. And we came to Canada in 1970 as immigrants. And
Wow.
how we came to Canada was very interesting. In my father was invited by Prime Minister Trudeau, and Prime Minister Trudeau invited my father to come to Canada for something amazing that was happening here in the 1960s, and it was called Expo 67. It was held in Montreal, and it was to invite immigrants from all over the world to explore the possibility of moving to Canada and being a part of the multicultural fabric of Canada. And Expo 67 celebrated people from all over the world. It was held in Montreal. So my father came with his buddy, and the two of them explored Expo and met with different people, and they decided to bring their families up. My father was a young lawyer. He was born in Georgetown, Guyana. Originally, our roots are from India. We are from northern India, UP, Uttar Pradesh. And so from India to Guyana to England, and in 1970 to Canada. So as a young immigrant family in Canada, when we first came in the 70s, it was quite difficult to adapt. But as young children, I was only 5 years old when I came. And, we were one of the very few minority families in Canada at that time. But, immigration has had such a great influence on my life that my father became an immigration lawyer here in Canada. He went back to Windsor Law School and he studied law and graduated and specialized for 45 years as one of Canada's top immigration lawyers. So when I finished university, he encouraged me to also follow in the path of law and immigration. So I took a course, and now before I did that course, I worked with the federal government of Canada for a period of 25 years as an immigration officer, a counselor assistant, and I did that for 25 years. So during my employment with the federal government of Canada, I met immigrants from all over the world, and I processed, Queen Amina, thousands and thousands of cases from around the world.
Wow.
So what I learned to do, Queen Amina, was recognize accents. I could pretty much, when someone speaks one line to me, I always surprise my friends from Africa. I know originally you're from Africa.
Yes, I am.
When they speak to me and I say, "Hey, are you from Ghana? Do you speak Twi?" And they, "How do you know?" And I said, I said, "You speak Twi." And he said, "How do you know?" "Nobody knows I speak Twi." And I said, "I recognize accents after 25 years of working with the federal government and meeting people from around the world. I can tell where you're from by the first one or two sentences that you speak."
Wow.
So it's very interesting. I loved being an officer because I did humanitarian and compassionate cases. I did refugee cases. I did spousal cases where I separated the husband and the wife to see if the legitimacy of their marriage was true. So I would put the husband in one room and question the wife, and I'd say, "What did you have for dinner last night?" And sometimes he would say, "Oh, I had fried chicken." And then I asked the wife, "Oh, I had noodles." And then I know that they weren't living together and it's not legitimate.
Wow.
I had a lot of fun doing marriage interviews. And so 25 years with the government. After that, I explored Bollywood a little bit. I retired. I explored Bollywood. I started a model and talent agency and helped people with their talent around the world. But my roots were always immigration. So I did a course where I'm now registered through the federal government of Canada to practice helping people with immigration and to come to Canada. So that's what we're going to discuss here today, how immigrants are the fabric of Canada, the history of immigrants coming to Canada, what ways you can come to Canada, and how we can help you.
Awesome. Thank you so very much for that brief introduction. Before we go into the topic of today, I do have my co-host waiting behind, and I think she has her mic muted. I'm going to wait for her to turn it on, and then I would bring her up just to say hello before we get into the whole communication thing there.
Yeah,
She is. I got her. Hello, Dr. Mokolo.
Hello, everyone. Hello to our wonderful guests. Hi.
Thank you, and hello, Doctor. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you.
Guys, Dr. Mokolo need no introduction. She's been on the show a couple of times. She's I say my power lifter.
Awesome.
Me and her worked on something last night until around 1:30 a.m. That is how much she believed in me so much. It's annoying.
I love you too.
I love you so very much, and I do appreciate you a lot. Thank you so much for all your effort, all the time that you have spent for me. May God increase and prosper you in return.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you. Mala, thank you so much for your time. For those of you that are just joining us, our guest today is Mala Singh, all the way from London, England, migrated here over 20-something years ago, I think.
Almost 50 years now.
Almost 50 years.
I came in 1970.
Whoa. Oh, before I was even in my mother's womb. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So you are Canada. So whatever you're going to be speaking today, guys, you better listen. You better take it because she is Canada. And she was telling us earlier how the the Prime Minister of Canada actually invited her dad to Canada for an expo. And when he came, he explored this country and decided to migrate with his family down to Canada 50 years ago. The father served in the government of Canada. He went back to school here, became an immigration lawyer, and served for 45 years. And while the daughter was growing up, he encouraged her to follow suit, and she did. And she has served the government of Canada in the immigration department for over 25 years. She was an immigration officer. And then she served over what? How many judges? You told me.
I was working with 52 judges. Yes,
52 judges. Oh my goodness. So yes, guys, if you're just joining, I think this is one broadcast you will not allow your finger not to share. Share, because a lot of people have a very, very messed up information about immigrating to Canada. So many people have lost their money in the process of trying to migrate to Canada. Fraudulent acts out there, fraudulent websites out there. We are going to clean up all that mess with legit informations for you guys today. And at the end of the show, you're going to be able to find out how you can connect with Mala and get more information. You possibly start your migration process with her. So before we go into that, let's quickly just touch base. I know we are connecting from 3 different areas. My dear Dr. Mokolo is all the way from the United States. How is the situation in your area?
Well, I must say it's very grim. We're losing people, every day, and that is really sad. Just as we're losing people, we're opening up, different cities. People are gradually picking up, their businesses, their pieces of their lives. But the loss of life is really sad. We're at over 80,000 as we speak. Yes, it's really sad.
So does it mean this opening up of the country has become more important than the lives of people?
It's beyond what I can, it's beyond the kind of sentiments I can express on the show. All I can say is it's a sad development. That's all I can say.
Wow.
Very
sad. How about you, Mala? It really is. Really is. How about Toronto?
Well, Toronto, we are still under sort of lockdown. Many families have quarantined themselves and stayed inside their homes, only going out for essential things like groceries and necessities. We are still awaiting gradual phases of this to be lifted. Our government has been doing exceptionally well. My hat's off to our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. My hat's off to the Premier of Ontario, also Doug Ford, and all the premiers across Canada have been, very, very vigilant about instructing on a daily basis. Prime Minister comes out and speaks to the people at 11 a.m. on the dot, and he's been giving specific instructions. And what we're doing is implementing 5 phases, that we gradually bring out the essential services that are needed, gradually open, whilst maintaining social distancing and precautions. Because as we know, this pandemic, there has not been a cure as yet. So we have to take all precautions. So I think Canada has done a wonderful job in what they have done for their citizens and the people. And as you know, the Prime Minister also implemented an emergency fund, which was unbelievable. It's unprecedented what he has
benefited from it, and I am attesting that it's real. Just to add to what you're saying, Canada has been fantastic. I was ever grateful to make the choice to move to Canada, especially at this time. I would have not wanted to be anywhere else. Canada is an enviable country right now. Tell anybody, if you have the opportunity to move to Canada, you should. we have another amazing immigrant that has done quite well in Canada. She's been with Oprah and you name it. You know, she's going to be coming on the show a little bit later to ask you some questions. And she has a program coming up, Cora Cristobal, and she's going to be on our show also to tell us about her immigration journey very soon. I think on the 21st or so she's going to be on. She's on right now. So later down the show, I'm going to bring her up. So yeah, well, in Windsor, where I am currently, thank God, I'm with my family, and it's still locked down, but things are opening up a bit, little by little here also. And the mayors here, all the government workers here, they're super fantastic in giving accurate, current, real information and instructions. And the citizens are very, very good in obeying and following suit. So we don't have everything opened up, beaches and all of this stuff opened up. No. So things are calm, the things are calm. I'm happy for that. And my prayer goes out to all the decision makers in the United States to please rethink and, do this. I don't know what to say, but I just pray that God will direct you guys to be able to think first of the people,
human lives.
Think first of the human life. All these other things are material things that will come.
We can always be built.
Exactly, but once you lose the man, you cannot bring that person back. So Donald Trump, the queen is speaking from her throne.
That's right. That's
right. Listen. All right, guys, welcome to the show, everyone. Chuku Samuel, he is someone that is super interested in migrating. So he's been contacting me. Thank God he's on the line. Throw your questions to us, Chuku. I know you're on the line, so this is a fantastic place for you to ask questions, and I would connect you with Mala. By the way, guys, our platform has been such a blessing to many people. Yeah, it sounds like a joke, but behind the scene, God has been using the information that great people have been sharing here to bless other people, and I've been getting the testimonies behind. When we hit 1 month, which is coming up on the 16th, will be 1 month on live show, but about 36 days of daily shows and 42 people on the show, believe it or not. We've not missed 1 day, so praise God.
That's amazing.
I'm going to be sharing all of those testimonies of the people that were texting me what information they got from the show, how it has helped them. And I am planning, I hope I get it all done, for them to actually do a quick video and send it to me. So it's not me speaking, it's them speaking. So hopefully we'll bring that up for our 30 days anniversary celebration very soon. So we have talked quite a lot. So now we're going to give you the floor, Mala.
Okay.
As per the topic of today, immigrants, the lifeline of Canada. We want you to tell us what you meant by that statement. How are we the lifeline of this country?
Well, Queen Amina, if you look at the history of Canada, Canada is made up of immigrants. And I'm speaking about, other than the Aboriginal natives that were here in Canada, I'm speaking about since 1871, after Confederation, the British Isles, people from the British Isles came here, and they made up 4/5 of the population. And in 1800, continental Europe, people came from France. Then the Loyalists came from the USA, and they built up the maritime provinces. The Acadians, they came. And in 1928 to 1971, there was 1 million immigrants that came through Pier 21 in Canada. And today, up to today, the majority of immigrants that are coming, it has changed, and it is more from India, China, Philippines, and other countries globally. But the first Indians and Sikhs that came. They came to build the railways in British Columbia, and the Sikhs and the Indians, they were a part of the military. There were turban Sikhs that came, and I'm speaking about early days since 1937. One of John Buchanan, he stated that he wanted people to come to Canada to build the fabric of Canada, but maintain their individuality. And the phrase that was used that is still used today is multiculturalism. Unlike the USA, where there's a melting pot, in Canada, the immigrants add to the fabric and beauty of Canada by contributing their own culture. I mean, you walk down certain streets and you can have Italian for lunch, and then you can have Indian for dinner. You can have Chinese snacks. And we are such a beautiful multicultural country, Canada. And in 1897, for the Queen Victoria Jubilee, influx of immigrants came from, and they were in the Hong Kong military, and they were in 1904 in BC. There was an influx of immigrants that came through the military and helped to develop acres and acres and acres of land. And at one point, this goes down in history and immigration, that they were giving away land. They were giving away approximately 160 acres of land for a small fee of like $10 in our money today, for anyone over 21 to come and develop the land of Canada. And many immigrants came at that time and started developing the land out in the prairies and the other provinces. So the history of Canada is really and truly based on immigrants coming to Canada and contributing. Amina, there's been an influx of immigrants over the generations who've contributed and worked and toiled the land, fishing and building railways and farming. And they are the Irish, the Germans, the British, the Sikhs of India. So many people came in the early days to build Canada. And that's the fact. That's why the topic today is how immigrants contribute to the fabric and the quality of life in Canada.
Thank you so much for that wonderful, quick narrative about how immigrants contributed so much to Canada. Now, me and you know that a lot of times we immigrants, we feel very little in the society. Meanwhile, we're supposed to be walking with our shoulders high. How do you think that the government or we can change that mindset?
In terms of migrating to Canada?
No, in terms of living here in Canada, a lot of immigrants here, they feel they're nothing. It's not more. It's not more of the racism. It's them being racist against themselves.
Yes.
You know, I think they're not important. They feel like they're nothing. Meanwhile, they're supposed to be jumping for joy, walking with their heads up high, that I am one of the people that is making this country to live every day.
Well, I think, Queen Amina, that it's all our responsibility of giving back to Canada. This is such a privilege to live here. And unless you get involved in your community, unless you get involved in building this beautiful country, contributing in starting a club, social activities, contributing with your own individual beautiful country that you came from, in terms of culinary arts, food, culture. One of the beautiful things that we have is every year there's these multicultural festivals where you get a passport and you visit all the different pavilions. Mm-hmm. And at those pavilions, you meet people who have contributed to Canada with dance and with their beautiful performances. So get involved. Never, ever feel that you are not a part of the fabric of this country, because immigrants have made this country, and history shows that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So you told us a little story about yourself as an immigrant 50 years ago. when you were growing up, did you ever think that history was going to replay itself? The Prime Minister of Canada invited your dad, and then you lived through the experience, seeing the son becoming the Prime Minister of Canada after many years, and he invited you to his inauguration.
That's right. I
How
was that was one of the most beautiful moments in my life. I felt that my life had come full circle. When Prime Minister Trudeau was sworn in, I was at the inauguration, and I couldn't stop my tears of joy because his father bought my father through his encouragement. We have 5 children in our family, 4 daughters and 1 son. My brother also followed in my father's footsteps to become a lawyer. My uncle is also a lawyer, so we have a lot of lawyers in the family. Through my father, he encouraged everyone with education. And what Prime Minister Trudeau is doing now is following in the illustrious footsteps of his father by promoting multiculturalism, building up a country of immigrants. And I'm very proud of that fact that he has kept up that tradition. He's toured all over Canada, and he's toured globally. He's visiting countries. He went to India. He's been all over the world. And I think his love for immigrants, and he knows the contribution of immigrants, of what his father recognized and what he also recognizes. So I'm very proud of that fact.
the reason why I also asked that question was for other immigrants out there that think they are here and they can't, they can never achieve anything. Your story is a beautiful story to encourage and empower other immigrants out there. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes.
Now, how has your family, apart from being an immigration officer, I know your dad did quite a lot. Just share a little bit before I go into the questions from the public. How has your father contributed to this country, personally, as a family?
Well, my father, one of the great things that he's known for
Please,
was
Dr. Mukolo, if you have questions, please jump in.
what my father was known for was he put people before money. He did many pro bono cases. At
Yeah.
one time, there was a ship that arrived in Halifax, Nova Scotia, with over 157 Sikhs, and they came a different type of route as refugees. They were fearing persecution, and they were planning to turn that ship back. And my father, I remember him telling us as children that it's my duty to go to Halifax and help these refugees. They had no money, they had nothing. And my father did 157 pro bono cases, meaning he did not take a penny. He did all the paperwork for those people. And those same refugees today are big businessmen, and they've contributed to Canada. They have big businesses. Some of them are doctors, some of them are lawyers, some of them went into construction. So sometimes people just need a chance. And my father, I'm so proud of him, Mr. Rupanarayan Sharma. He went down in history for doing all those cases.
I actually read about him, yes.
Yeah, and he's also had many precedented cases have gone down in history representing refugees from Nigeria and from Ghana, and he had many of the very first refugee cases from Guyana and Trinidad and India. And as a little girl, I remember being at his law office at Pape and Gerard, and there would be people lined up around the building. And I used to say to my mom, like, why are these people so into my father? And my mom said, because he puts people before anything else. He loves people. And I plan to do that with my business, is that whenever anybody sits in front of me, I treat them as if they were family. And I try to determine what's the best possible route of helping someone without charging them exorbitant fees. What's the best possible route that they could come to Canada in a professional, ethical, good way and get through, expeditiously.
Wow. Thank you so much. For those of you who are just joining us, please share the video. Today, our guest is Mala Sharma-Singh, migrated from London, England over 50 years ago, has worked with the Canadian immigration for many, many years. Her father served also as an immigration lawyer here, and she's told us their wonderful story of how they migrated here through the Prime Minister of Canada, and she was part of the inauguration of the current Prime Minister of Canada after many years. What a fantastic experience. Please share this broadcast so that many other people that would want to migrate to Canada in a professional and legal way without being charged exorbitant amount of money, please let them benefit from this broadcast. Down the road, we're going to be sharing how you can contact Mala, and you can always contact me, of course, and I'll connect you with her. I know we already have one client. He is watching from the Philippines already. So right after this broadcast, you're going to be getting a call from him. I am pretty sure. And I have my sweet little niece. She's watching us also from Nigeria. She has an online class teaching technical social media technical stuff. So if anybody wants to learn about how to post proper pictures, post proper video, edit your videos without stress, anything about social media, she is going to be able to teach you. She is Omei Enehi Yanks. So look out for her on Instagram. I'm going to be posting her link also under this video. She's doing amazing, amazing things online, bringing young people up to speed with social media. So thank you guys all for watching. I love you very much. We're taking questions from the audience also with my co-host behind the camera here, Dr. Princess Mokolo. So my next question to you, or if my doctor have questions for you, she can bring it up.
I can kick it off by just asking, could you walk us through the ABCs of the process of professional migration?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
as you do that, let us know, are there some professions that are more favorable for migration to Canada?
Yes, definitely. So let me just go over briefly some of the ways that you can come to Canada. So first of all, there's the immigrant category for family sponsorship, so that if you are already in Canada and you want to sponsor your family, there are several ways of doing that. For parental sponsorship, the former government had sort of a lottery system for bringing your parents to Canada. But the Liberal government is planning to overhaul that system, and they were planning to make an announcement in April as to abolishing the lottery system and having a better system of family reunification. So we'll be handling those cases. Another way is you can come to Canada is as a student, and you have to get accepted by a designated institute here in Canada, and you can apply to come to study in Canada. Another way is to come as a worker. As a worker, there are several ways that you can come, and you just mentioned that, Doctor. What they have now is federal skilled worker programs, and what these programs are is that you have to qualify under a certain category. It's called the NOC, okay, the National Occupation Code. And Canada does not want to take away jobs from existing people here in Canada that are qualified for those jobs. So the National Occupation Code lists many, many occupations that you could come to Canada under. And they're either under skilled trades, you can come, under many different programs. And right now, the government has implemented pilot projects, such as the caregiver pilot project, that if you're skilled with taking care of children and elderly due to COVID-19, a lot of these programs have been put into place to expedite people coming to Canada. So there's a list of several pilots that are now open for applications that I tell you more about those pilot projects if you contact me. And as I said, once you qualify as a federal skilled worker, then you get placed into a pool, and you can be pulled regarding your qualifications and your skills. And they base it under different types of criteria. First of all, you have to apply. They look at your education. They look at your English language. They have to test you There's several CELPIP and IELTS tests that they assess your English. They look at your age, your work experience in your country that you're coming from, and also if there's someone here in Canada who can offer you a position, you get a job offer specifically from Canada, that gives you extra points. So, if you get an employer who advertises here in Canada and cannot find someone in the position, they advertise for approximately 30 days, then you can qualify for them to send you a letter of invitation and a job offer. And under the federal skilled workers, as I mentioned, there's a skill type A, B, O, and we look under the book and see what is the best or the highest requirements right now that Canada needs. And we take a look at your resume and see where you would fit under the National Occupation Code to qualify. And so we build a very strong case for you to qualify as a federal skilled worker. So that's one way of doing it. And there are many, many, many positions that are in high demand right now that need filling. And definitely, once we assess you and see the points, you can come. Another way to come to Canada as a visitor. And when you come to when you apply for a visitor visa, many people get refused immediately because they don't know what the criteria are that they're looking for. And as a former officer, I know what they're looking for. And I'll advise you, when you apply for a visitor visa, you have to show that you're just coming to visit. It's not a way of coming to Canada and remain. So you have to show that you have strong family ties to the country you're leaving from. You have a good travel history. You have funds in the bank in your home country. These sort of things make your visitor application stronger to come to Canada. And it's not just a way of coming and staying. There's so many different avenues of coming the proper way. There's the Canadian Experience Program also. There's exploratory visas that are granted. There's business investment where you can invest money into our economy to help to build it and build your own business. So these are all excellent ways of coming to Canada without ever doing it through the back door or the wrong way. So these are some of the ways. And if you are in a country where you're being suppressed or you need help because you're for refugee claims, you have to qualify again under certain programs here as a refugee. And as a refugee, they're looking for, if you're being persecuted because of your race, your religion, you're a member of a certain political group, or your nationality or your political opinion, if you feel you're in a country that you need help because of those situations, Canada opens their arms to help legitimate refugee claimants. We are known as a country of compassion that helps refugees from all over the world. And I'm really proud to be in a country that recognizes that people need help.
Thank you so much for that brief introduction. There's a question here from an audience. He said, I am interested in migrating to Canada as a businessman. I have been rejected. My application has been rejected twice, one for education, the other one for visiting. Now, can I still apply to come as a businessman? And if yes, how much do I need to invest?
So my answer to that is that there are many, many platforms of investing in Canada. On the average, it's usually around under the EBS, the Investor Immigration Requirements. They're looking at approximately 500,000 Canadian. And the fact that you've been refused before, perhaps you didn't use a regulated immigration consultant or immigration lawyer, but there are very, very detailed checklists that you have to qualify under. And so as an immigration consultant that's licensed, I would advise you to follow that checklist, and there is absolutely no problem with applying again. There are also programs that are open for investors to build in Canada, where the government puts the funds into an account that is held um, until you come and you build and you use your own funds to build your company. So it's not that you're paying the government, it's your investment to develop your own company. And there are many, many programs like this. And there are even some programs with zero down. If you have an innovative idea that will help Canada, an invention or something, there's many, many different ways of coming under the business programs that you can come with zero down. So, you're welcome to contact me and I can go into more detail with that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I hope that satisfies your questions, anonymous person. Some people don't call their names, which I respect. Yeah, please bring on your questions. You're on the Queen Amina show, my co-host today. Let me bring up her beautiful face so you can at least see her.
Hello, doctor.
And Princess Makolo, she's my co-host, and our guest is Mala Sharma-Singh. Mala Sharma-Singh, you're gonna know all about her at the end of the show. We're gonna post how you contact her. And our topic today is immigrant, the lifeline of Canada. Could you quickly share, before I go into the next question, could you share what are some of the ways that immigrants have contributed highly in significant areas in building up Canada's economy?
Definitely. At one time, Canada was known as a country that was looking to brain drain other countries. They were bringing all the very educated people to Canada to build the economy and to build Canada. And many immigrants that came here have contributed to science and technology and to agriculture, to planting and building farms. There are there are hundreds of thousands of people who have contributed as temporary foreign workers. They come and they do jobs that Canadians or people who are here already don't want to do, the very menial and hard task of planting the farms. And from the islands, they come and they do the crops, planting, trimming, digging up the potatoes. Very, very much appreciated all the hard works of these immigrants that they've contributed to Canada, not only in big jobs and in IT and technology, but hands-on jobs where they're working on their hands and knees and reaping all the crops for us to enjoy and eat, and the dairy farms and planting trees.
Isn't those jobs were the jobs that were never appreciated? During the lockdown season, they became the essential jobs.
Exactly.
The drivers, the farmers that kept the produce in the grocery stores. The truck, the bus drivers, the factory workers that kept on producing hand sanitizers and toilet tissue papers. They became essential workers.
That's right. They became the heroes. They were now frontline workers, truck drivers, grocery clerks. Yeah. They are our national heroes.
I know, it's amazing how the
true COVID heroes.
Absolutely.
They are the true COVID heroes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Correct. And that brings me to my next thing that I was just going to announce briefly. The Vigo Awards International, which I founded 6 years ago, is actually going to be hosting this year online. So yeah,
fantastic.
Look out for that. It's going to be many COVID-19 heroes being awarded for their fantastic job. And I love everyday ordinary heroes. I just do. So
I love that too. I had the honor of attending your awards. I didn't get to meet you that day. I was there and I played the drums. They had drums. They had the drums at every table, the African drums. Oh. I was in awe of what you did. Recognizing the unsung heroes in our community and there was kings and queens in the room.
Yeah.
And how they were dressed was so beautiful. I was there, and I was invited by Amira, and
Oh, okay.
yes, and I totally enjoyed every single moment. Thank you for what you do to
So
recognize people. I loved it. I loved it.
you see, I didn't even know you were there. There were
I
over
was there.
400 people, almost 500 people.
Yes, it was
Oh
exceptional
my
evening.
God. Thank you
Exceptional
so
evening. And
Thank
the talent of the people when they sang, you had international artists. I was sitting with a gentleman that came from Nigeria. He's a famous singer. He was a tall, handsome guy. But
Yeah,
your show was so packed that he didn't get a chance to sing.
you
But
couldn't perform. Yes.
that's
I
right.
know.
So he was my guest that night. And
Oh, yeah. But guess what? He's coming on the show on the 14th. Beacon.
excellent,
Yeah,
excellent,
he's going to be performing here.
excellent.
Oh my
And
goodness.
yes,
Thank
and
you so much.
yes, I didn't get a chance to meet you, but now look how the world is. We're meeting online.
Oh, I didn't even know you were there. I just saw
I
your
was
profile, and then somebody suggested you come on the show, and I approached you, and you said yes. Even I
yes,
didn't even know you already saw me somewhere.
yes, yes. No, I was your fan. I was your fan a long time before we had this online
Oh
meeting.
my God! Thank you so much. All right, guys. So let's dive into the next questions. Yeah, you just shared with us how immigrants have contributed highly into the economy of Canada. My next question to you is, how has COVID-19 affected immigration?
Well, that's a very heavy question because undoubtedly it has affected immigration. The forecast for immigration, approximately 1% of our population, over 1 million people was the plan in the next phase before COVID hit. We were opening up so many programs to bring over 1 million people to Canada
Yeah.
within the next few years as immigrants. But COVID-19 has put a total lockdown on the way we operate. Uh,
Mm.
I Today I came to my office just for this interview, but I've been operating from home, and I haven't been coming into the office. I'm still doing online applications, but it has impacted immigration in Canada very much. But I'm 100% sure that when this lifts and the travel restrictions are lifted, there will be a new influx of good, qualified immigrants that come to build this country. And our government is so pro-immigration that Canada will never ever close its gates to immigrants
That's
because
good to know.
this country was built by immigrants. And the quality of life that we appreciate now is because of the immigrants' toil and the sweat of their brow and building the railways and doing the fisheries, the Hudson's Bay Company, the immigrants from all over the world. So I am 100% confident that immigration will always be very high up on the list for building Canada. So right now what's happened is there was a lot of people who were just in the midst of their marriage applications. They were coming to reunite with their spouses. I've
Yeah.
been getting calls from people who are missing their family. Mala, when will this end? I want to see my wife. And they've been pre-approved. Everything is ready to go. It's just their wife has to travel, or their husband has to travel, or their mother or father has to travel. And COVID-19 has separated families right now, but I think in life you're a firm believer in a higher power, and I know, doctor, you are too. And everything in life happens for a reason. This
Yes. Yes.
COVID-19 has brought families closer together. They're spending more time with their children, with their wives. It's probably saved marriages here in this country because people were so hustle bustle, on the move, no time for their children, no time for their husbands and wives, money, money, money. But no, COVID-19 has taught us what's important in life, and divine intervention will take away everything eventually. And I'm a firm believer in divine. The higher power will intervene and everything will be good in time. So hang in there, love your family, and everything will be good.
Awesome. Thank
Queen,
you so
after you, I have a question right after you.
Okay, I was just going to grab an audience question online here. VJ, VJ Lakshmi. I don't know if I said that correctly, but he says, do you think the RNIP, Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot Program, supports immigrants to migrate with their families who are really willing to migrate to rural community living places?
Absolutely. Our government has implemented programs called the provincial nominee programs, where each province, PNP programs, Nova Scotia has their own, the rural provinces, they want to build these provinces, and they've lowered the language requirements in certain provinces because a lot of immigrants were unable to get high marks on their English tests. And they have expedited the timing for some projects and in some provinces so that immigrants are able to come to Canada under these programs. And there are very many of these programs available under the different provinces. So everybody, when they think of coming to Canada, they think of Ontario, Toronto, but no, Canada, I've traveled from province to province, from the east to the west and north to the south, and Canada is so beautiful. Saskatchewan with its golden prairies and the beautiful wheat farms, and
Mhm.
Manitoba. I went to Alberta where there are so many oil, fields, Sunpack, all of them are there, Suncor. So there are so many provinces that are looking for immigrants, and the requirements to come to Canada to those provinces are not as hard or as regimented as Ontario. So definitely this is a good question, Vijay Lakshmi, that you've asked. And I would encourage you to look into those programs, or feel free to contact me and look into provincial nomination programs.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vijay, for that wonderful question. I hope she was able to do justice to answering that question. And like she said, we're going to be posting how you can contact her, her phone number, website, email, social media platform handles. And also, you guys can always contact me. My number is rolling on the bottom of the screen. So if you don't write it now, the video is going to be up and you can catch the number there, and I would be able to connect you with her. All right, Dr. Mokolo, please.
Yeah, so for students, international students that are trying to decide between one country and the other in North America, and if their hopes are for a pathway to citizenship, what would you say to them about the prospects for Canadian international students as far as pathway to citizenship?
Well, I can tell you that that's an excellent question, Doctor, because Canada recognizes that once students get qualified here, what they do, foreign students, as I mentioned before, there's designated learning institutes that are approved by the Canadian government for them to apply to. They have to be accepted by these institutes, and after they have studied in Canada, after 8 months, there's something called a PGWP, which is a postgraduate work permit. 8 months of school equals 8 months of the PGWP. After 1 year of school, you get 1 year of PGWP. After 2 years or more of school, you get 3 years of PGWP. And it cannot be renewed, but what it does, it gives you the path to apply for permanent residence after you're granted this PGWP. So it's called the postgraduate work permit. And so students should definitely look into that path. And Canada is such a beautiful place to raise your family, come young, study, work hard, contribute to the economy. Another thing I would tell international students is, this is advice like from a mama, is that when you come here, I know you're getting away, and it's you're away from your family and you get freedom and you want to go wild, some of them, but no, respect the laws of Canada. Work hard, give back. We don't want international students to get a bad reputation in Canada. There's been a lot of negative press recently in my city of Brampton with international students, And I'm hoping that these cases are far and few and in between, because when you come here, be responsible. We understand it's your first time away from your parents, and they get into trouble, drinking, driving, maybe get into the wrong company. But Canada is giving you an opportunity to come here to contribute to this beautiful country. So treat it seriously. It's a way of helping your family. One day sponsoring your mother and father, your grandparents. It's such a beautiful country. So international students, if you come here, contribute back to your country and work hard, study hard. Don't use this as an excuse to come here and not go to school and not educate yourself, because an educated person helps generations of their family. So remember that.
True. That is so true. Wow. So students out there, I have a lot of them that I personally take care of over here. So I'm going to be passing this information. It's a very powerful one that I don't even know about. 8 months of school, you get 8 months of PGWP, which is postgraduate work permit. And
Yes.
how does that help you now to apply to citizenship? Does it count the days for you? Like, as a permanent resident, you need 1,060 days or 1,006 days before you can apply for citizenship. Does this count towards that?
Well, you can't immediately apply for citizenship, but you can apply for permanent residence as early as 8 months after you are into this process. So
Wow.
so a lot of people are not aware of this, but
No.
there are many, 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 many pathways that the Canadian government has implemented to help immigration of students, of workers, of business investors, of federal skilled workers, express entry, provincial nominee programs. The list goes on and on and on. So our country is such a great country for immigration, and there are many, many pathways. So let's find the right one for you.
Thank you so much. There's a wonderful statement here that says, I would strongly recommend people to contact Malaji, which is you.
Oh,
She's an excellent PR person, and she will
oh,
work excellently and professionally with you to get you to Canada. She's a humble person, and I am
oh,
so proud of her. Thank you so
wow. Wow.
much.
Who said that? Who said
Uh,
that?
VJ.
Oh, nice. Wonderful. That's
Thank you
very
so
nice.
much, Malaji.
Thank you so much. That's very nice of you. Thank you, Vijay.
Yeah.
And believe me, if I follow in my illustrious father's footsteps, even a grain, and put people first, that is my goal. Put
Mhm.
people who sit in front of you, treat them like family. Look for the best possible way at the least cost, not how you can make money, but save your client money. That's what makes a good immigration consultant. I don't want people to be exploited. I want to find them the proper way. And that's why I came back to doing this, because there was so much exploitation going on. And there's something called LMIA, which is a labor market impact assessment. And what Canada does is they determine what parts of the labor market require people. And if you get a positive LMIA, employers can apply for this through EDC, and once they get this approval, they offer it to prospective immigrants who would like to come. And there's a lot of people. What they've been doing is charging exorbitant amount of fees to people to give them an opportunity to get one of these pre-approved LMIAs, which is very wrong. You should not be doing that, and I'm against it. I want people to come, and I want employers to help people. If the government is giving you permission to bring people from foreign countries, don't charge them exorbitant fees. It's the wrong thing. Keep your fees low, train them properly, and you'll get a lot of blessing. We all believe in blessings. It's more better to get blessings than make money that is doesn't last if it's in the wrong way. So
I'm laughing because, I always tell people, I said, whatever you do in life, have two things behind your mind. One, your credibility.
yes,
Number two, believe in yourself and just do it. Don't worry
yes,
if people are cheering you up or not. Don't worry if
yeah,
people are saying good or great things about you or not.
Yes.
Make sure you keep your credibility, your name. And that's why I'm laughing. Somebody is championing you and clapping and being so proud of you behind the scene. I'm hosting a watch party, by the way, on my phone. So this
Wow.
all the statements here are not coming up there. Okay.
That's so beautiful.
So the person said, I think Malaji is from my country.
Oh, that's so nice.
So
That's
if
so nice.
you're that person, nobody's going to be putting it publicly saying that you're from their country.
Let me tell you what I say, okay? And my mother brought me up in a way. My mother taught me since I was a small child that we are global citizens,
That's
that we live on Mother Earth.
That's right.
Our mother is Mother Earth. So
Mhm.
we may roam from country to country. We may leave our roots of Africa and India and South America or Guyana, Trinidad, Philippines, wherever, Russia, Germany. But we have to look at the world as if we are global citizens. And this is what the pandemic has taught us also. It doesn't matter our nationality, it doesn't matter our race, it doesn't matter how much money we make. We are all in this together. And that's after this pandemic is over, that's how we should look at the world.
Yes,
When we help our neighbor, we're helping our family member.
that's correct.
When we're helping someone to come to Canada, we're building their future, the future for their children.
Mhm.
So if we look at each other as brothers and sisters and a global family, how beautiful the world will be. Let's implement that. Let's implement that thought after this is all over, that we are one global family, no matter race, religion, color, creed, none of that matters. And that's how I was raised, and I raised my children the same way. And I would love that to be implemented globally.
Okay, I'll tell you something that would encourage you. See what you're doing right now. You're doing your part to implement such system. What
Yeah.
I am doing, I'm doing my part to implement such system. What Dr. Mokolo is doing, very quickly, the more good people come out to do their little bit, we would begin to catch like wildfire, and we
That's it.
will wipe away all the bad.
That's it. I
That is
agree with
what I
that.
believe, and it's gonna happen. Anyways,
I
our
agree.
time is fast spent. Before I take the last question, which you're going to tell us how we'll connect with you, I just want to quickly read a little bit and just give a shout out. We have actually a beauty queen, the winner of a beauty beauty
Pageant.
contest. She's on the line, Queen Ene Uma. Thank you so much for
Wow.
all the way from Lagos. Sherry Jarrett said, "Oh, Shirley, how are you?" She's been on our show a few days ago. She said, "I hope we'll connect soon with Mala." So yeah, a lot of people want to connect with
I
you.
love that. I
Don't
love
forget
that.
you have Cora also. Cora is
Yeah,
waiting.
Cora is
Oh,
not
yes.
Cora is not behind the studio. Cora,
Oh, okay.
are you watching? I sent you the link. Please come up and you have some question and also to tell us about your wonderful show that is coming up. Yeah, so while we're waiting for her to come up, I just want you to please, I'm going to landscape you. I want you to tell us exactly how people can connect with you, both on social media, your phone number, everything, all those good stuff.
Thank you. Well, I'm a big Facebook fanatic. I love Facebook because it connects the world. I've connected with people all over the world through Facebook. So I have my Sharma-Singh Immigration on Facebook. So you just click on that, Sharma-Singh Immigration on Facebook. Also, my website, www.sharmasinghimmigration.com. And any questions that you have, how you can qualify, I do a free assessment. I don't want to take on any case unless you are qualified to come to Canada. So I do a free assessment, and you can email me for that assessment form at info at sharmasinghimmigration.com. And I will email you a detailed questionnaire that can help me to decide which path is the best one for you to come to Canada. And of course, my phone number, 416-831-7262. That's 416-831-7262. So you have my website, you have my phone number, you have my Facebook page, and I'm located in Brampton, 7 Sunpack Boulevard, Unit number 7, Sharma-Singh Immigration, 7 Sunpack Boulevard, Unit number 7. But right now, due to COVID-19, I'm just really dealing with clients online. But you're free to call me at any time or to email me for any advice.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I hope you guys caught that. I wrote down the phone number. It's 416-831-7262. And if you're calling internationally, all you need to do is add a +1 from the beginning and it will bring you. And she's on WhatsApp too. Everybody love WhatsApp today.
Yes.
I want to put in a plug. I just want to say, if you're trying to migrate to a country, instead of you becoming part of the statistic of those who have been turned down, rejected, it just makes sense for you to work with a consultant. And, you know, she's not paying me for this, but I just want to tell you, if you're watching out there and you or your children are trying to come to Canada, do it right the first time. Go with someone who has all the experience.
That's correct.
And
DJ is
there's
attesting to that. He said he has wasted so much money with consultants from UAE and in Canada. But honestly, you have been the best since he's been working with you. He absolutely recommends that people work with you. Well, that is coming from a client that have experienced you.
Oh, so, thank you so much.
Yes.
And there's a way.
Cora is back on now. Cora is back.
Okay. She is on WhatsApp, yes. And I'll send you the WhatsApp number so you can connect with her. Madam Cora, if you're online, I sent you a link. Could you please connect with us through that link so I can bring you up? Please connect through that link.
Yes, and Queen Amina, just so that, you know, if it's not even necessarily me that people contact, make sure you get a regulated, you know, immigration consultant. The government has set up
regulated.
They have to have an RCIC regulated number by the government. They're licensed by the government. They've been trained, and you don't want to go to any consultant that is not an RCIC, that is regulated by the Canadian government, because they're held accountable for their actions if they do any wrong.
That is a fantastic advice, and I hope people are watching that. Dr. Morris, I keep saying Dr. Morris. I spoke with her too just a few hours before the show. Dr. Mokolo, do you have any question? I'm quickly going to take me off the screen for a minute here.
Well, just, you know, again, if you're going to a foreign country, make sure that you do it the right way. And so in terms of those who are already in Canada, and again, I'm advocating for international students because I have a lot of friends that have, you know, the kids that want to come to Canada. So if you're already in Canada as a student, what are the do's and don'ts to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success? You're already here as an international student. What should you do? What should you not do to make sure that you don't miss the golden opportunity?
Number one is, don't let anyone take advantage of you with false promises. And I've heard of some international students contacting their parents for money, and their parents selling their land with guarantees of people fooling them and saying, oh, employers telling them that if you pay so much money that you will be given landed. Don't do any of that. Stay in school, number one. Students are allowed to work up to 20 hours a week outside of classes, but stay in school, finish your education. The government will look out for you in terms of the programs that I mentioned, the postgraduate programs, and give you paths to apply properly to permanent residence in Canada. Do not be fooled. Stay out of trouble. I keep repeating it. Obey the law. Don't get into trouble, because even drinking and driving is considered an indictable offense in Canada, and you cannot be processed for permanent residence if you get into problems with the law. So keep out of trouble. Stay in school. Do not be taken advantage of by employers or false promises, and study hard and just do what your parents and your family members expect you to do, and that is study and be a good future citizen of Canada.
Thank you.
Thank,
Awesome.
thank you so much. I think I have, yeah, Cora is on. Let's see if her microphone and everything is working. Yay. Well, the camera is not on. So we're going to wait to see if her camera comes on. That way I can bring her on.
Okay.
Yeah. So while we're waiting for her, Mala, there was a guy that, okay, even this question is for me too. So as an event planner, if I invite a guest to attend my event in Canada, they showed up in Canada and decide not to go back, am I responsible for any wrong or anything they did? I mean,
Well,
my
I will tell you right now that you have to be very careful of who you invite to Canada, because some people ask you for an invitation letter to come to attend a function, but they're or
they're
to attend an
not coming.
event, and their intention is never to go back, but they don't tell you that. So if you give them a letter of invitation on your company letterhead, you can be blacklisted. Your your company can get blacklisted for doing a false invitation, because the government has no way of knowing if you were paid for it, if you were a part of it. So as an event planner, even for international concerts, certain promoters have been blacklisted. They've been blacklisted. Even Bollywood big stars, some of them are not allowed to enter Canada. International artists are not allowed to enter Canada because of the same problem. They attended before and overstayed, or they say they're coming with their band and then the band disappears. So you cannot do things the wrong way. If you want to come to Canada, do things the right way, and you don't want to get blacklisted as an employer
Okay,
or
that
as
is
an event planner.
that is actually quite good to know, because a lot of the time people get upset at you when you said, I am sorry, I cannot use my letterhead to write letters if you're not officially invited. They get
That's
upset at you. So thank you for clarifying that. And one more question, ladies and gentlemen, Cora Christopher is on the show with us. Yay, welcome.
Thank you very much, Queen Amina.
You're very welcome.
I initially didn't know how to get in, but I figured it out. I was trying to get in Facebook. I didn't know I have to go to WhatsApp. Anyway, this technology is really nice to learn, and thank you very much for having me in your show.
No
Hi,
Hello,
problem.
Cora.
hi, Cora. Hi, Cora.
Hi.
You're not alone. We're all learning the technology all at the same time, because it has become a necessity. So no,
Yes,
Right.
this coronavirus is forcing us to learn technology.
that's
That's
right.
right.
Right. Guys, before I introduce Cora, she's just going to be very brief with us. She's coming on the show on the 22nd, is it 22nd or 21st? I don't know. But I'm going
19,
to,
May
on the
19th.
19th. Okay, May 19th. And you have a show coming up. But quickly, before I talk about that, Mala, one more question for you.
Yes.
Do Canada do lottery visa? Because this is one thing that have been flying on the internet, and I have so many people sending it to me. Oh, my queen, could you please look into this for us? We want to win this lottery like United States. Now we're hearing from you that is working with the immigration. Please, I am going to let you really look into the camera and answer this question. Do
Okay.
Canada do visa lottery?
So let me explain to you what it was. Is that our previous government had implemented a process where it was like the lottery system to sponsor parents and grandparents to Canada. Our new government is now implementing a new plan that it is not a lottery system. The United States of America kind of uses a so-called lottery system, but Canada is not going to be using that system. They have put a stop on that system. All parents and grandparents are not going to be a part of that system. What we're using now temporarily is something called a super visa, that you can apply for a super visa for your parents to come over. When you're referring to the lottery system, what Canada does is they have a pool. They have a pool of people that they gather information on their skills with language, background, adaptability to Canada. How will they adapt? And there's a certain amount of points that are given to you, and then you are put into that pool. Once you qualify, a certain amount, a number of people are announced, a certain number for those federal skilled workers, and they're pulled from that pool of qualification. But refrain from calling it a lottery, because what it really is a way to assess qualified people who will adapt to our community and our culture, and who will be adding to the economy and the fabric of Canada. So Canada is looking for good people who are hardworking, who will be able to enter into the community and into the culture, and give back to the economy. So this lottery, the word lottery, try to refrain from that, because Canada is not the same as the United States, where it's a lucky draw. It's based on skill, adaptability, age, work experience. If you have prearranged employment, your education, your background, all of these things give you points. So refrain from that terminology of lottery.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mala, for your time on our show today. Ladies and gentlemen, again, it's Mala Sharma-Singh. If you want to contact with her, I am going to be posting her contact right under this broadcast. So when we finish the broadcast, don't go away. Host a WhatsApp so that your other friends can join in and listen into this wonderful information from Mala. Thank you so much, Mala, for being on our show. May the
Thank
good
you. It's been an
Lord
honor.
and enlarge your cause so that you can be of help to many, many, many others. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Any
God
final
bless you.
words for our audience?
I just want to say thank you so much, Queen Amina. Even though I am not in your physical presence, I feel honored that your good vibrations have come through the screen to me, and it's an honor to be on your show. You're a good global citizen of the world. You recognize good people. You help good people. You're a pure and good soul, and I'm truly honored to be on your show today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you once again.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone. Thank you. God bless. God
Bye.
bless. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, that was Mala Sharma-Singh. It was such a wonderful time with her. And she's already been on one of my events, and I didn't even know that. So the world is a very, very small place. Be careful how you treat others, because one day, you're going to come meet with these people. My next guest here is going to just be very brief with us. She's going to have a full hour on the show on the 19th. But before the 19th, we decided to bring her up today just to tell us about her event coming up. She's also an immigrant that has done quite well. I told you that she did so well that she met with Oprah face to face. So it's a wonderful thing. So, guys, welcome Cora Christopher. Hi, Cora.
Hello. Thank you very much. It's
Thank
so
you
nice
for
to-
coming on such a short notice. That's my co-host, Dr. Princess Mokolo. She's also one of my mentors. So you're meeting her now. So you guys should connect.
Cora and I are already connected. We were together in
So what?
Toronto.
Ah,
What a great combination. One
I
is queen
know.
and the other is princess.
Yes. We are
I know.
the royal team.
Yeah,
Imagine this is a royalty show, right?
that's right.
It is.
Welcome to the royalty show.
Yes, imagine.
Yeah. So, Cora, tell us briefly about you. And I know we're going to go into this more on when you come as a guest on our show fully for the whole section. Just tell our audience a little bit about you and what you are going to be doing on your event and how people can connect with you. And then they will join you on the 19th to hear your full story.
Thank you for this opportunity to briefly share myself to your wonderful audience. So, as you said, I'm Cora Cristobal, and I'm the founder of Toronto Women's Club. I run Toronto Women's Club live events until coronavirus, where we can no longer do events, right? And I'm also a best-selling author of already 6 books, and I am a speaker that brought me to Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, and all those celebrities. So book writing and speaking on stages has brought me to meet all those celebrities. And on May 19, I'm going to do my first online event, and I'm going to bring Dr. John Gray. Dr. John Gray is the best-selling New York Times best-selling author for the book that is very popular, and it's called "Men Are from Mars, Women Are from Venus." And the topic at my event, it's on May 19, 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The title is going to be how to be happy, how to be healthy, happy, and wealthy. Especially at this current challenging times, I would like to again give my wisdom, as well as Dr. John Gray, Sunil Tulshani. So I have other speakers. He's going to help me share our wisdom to the audience on how to be healthy, happy, and wealthy, whether it is coronavirus or no coronavirus.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, if you want to be healthy, happy, and wealthy, which I want to be, make sure you are on that show. How can we connect to the show? It's on Facebook Live or
You know
Zoom?
what? You know what? I already put the in the chat box.
She put the
I
link.
already shared. I already
Okay,
shared the link.
perfect. So that's wonderful. And guys, talking about books, I happen to have read one of your books that you blessed me with at the Vigo Award show, and it's a wonderful book. I usually don't promote any book that I haven't read, and the ones that I read that doesn't really add anything to me. But your book is quite an amazing book. So, guys, follow Cora Christopher. Make sure you are watching, checking the link to be able to join in 1 to 5 p.m. May 19th.
Yes.
You're going to be having a live event. We will be connecting. Thank you so much, and we will see you very shortly on the Queen Amina show.
Thank you. I will see you at your show on May 21st, I think.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank you
so
for your
much. Have a
time.
wonderful
Thank you.
time. Take
Bye.
care.
All the best. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. All right, that brings us to another amazing conclusion of the Queen Amina show. Dr. Princess, what do you have for us before we call it a day?
If you're watching and you're wondering, how you can migrate to Canada or to any other country and wondering about how you could be successful, I just want to encourage you, especially international students, that if you focus on your goals, focus on your why, the reason you're migrating, stay out of trouble, like she said. I am a testimony to what it means to be successful as a migrant and what it means for education to be a pathway to your citizenship.
Mhm.
Stay focus on your education. If you're a student, just reach for the highest level and that country will recognize you.
Yes.
If you work hard and you stay focused, you will be recognized. Today, to the glory of God, I am legitimate. I don't have to worry about documentation, and it's all thanks to education.
Mm. Thank you so much for co-hosting the show with me. We would see you on Thursday or anytime.
See you
You're welcome
soon.
always.
See you all soon. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. All right, guys, that's another wonderful end of the Queen Amina show on Facebook and YouTube Live. I am going to ask you guys to please kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. We have a whopping 32 people subscribed already. I am super excited. I celebrate every little milestones that we come across. So please invite people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Very soon, I am going to be posting some amazing short powerful clips into my YouTube channel, and it would bless somebody. So subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And when you click the subscribe button, make sure you click the bell button. So when we post any new video, you will get a notification. And also follow me on Instagram, DE Queen Amina, DE Queen Amina, Daniel Echo Queen Amina. God bless you. Until tomorrow, same time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. GMT. Keep watching the Queen Amina Show. Thank you.